Okay. Hi, Daniel. How are you doing?
Hi, Bilal. I'm doing great. How are you?
Yeah, I'm totally fine. Thank you so much for asking. Now, today, I just want to let all the audience here we have Mr. Daniel, respectable. And thank you so much for giving your precious time, first of all. And in this podcast, this is our first session. And in this first session, I will ask you a couple of questions related to your business, about yourself, about your, coaching experiences, each and everything. Okay. So, are you ready for it?
Yes, I'm ready. Let's go.
Here we go. Now my first question is, Daniel, what inspired you to become a men's empowerment coach?
Well, when I was younger, I grew up in a house totally full of women. My father wasn't around. I didn't have a masculine figure in my house growing up. So as a result, I didn't learn a lot of the things that young men are supposed to learn early on in their career about masculinity and leadership and taking initiative. And I realized that negatively impacted my dating life into my late teens and throughout most of my 20s, the majority of my early 20s. So when I got to a point where I wanted to improve my dating life, I was getting rejected all the time. I was getting ghosted. I was getting one dates that would just lead nowhere. The women were saying, "Oh, you're a nice guy, but I don't feel the connection." And I'm just like, why do I always get this? Like, what is wrong? There's a pattern here. What is with this pattern? So I started going online. I followed some coaches on YouTube. I read some books, started listening to some podcasts, took a little bit of information here, a little bit from there. And I started to form my own concepts of what women expect from men, I should say, what being the masculine traits that they find attractive, and how being the nice guy really doesn't get you far in dating. And I learned about how a man could be nice but still be masculine and set boundaries. So learning all this, I saw a massive transformation in my personal mindset, my mental health, my stress, and my dating life started to improve. I was approaching with more confidence. I wasn't letting failures or rejections impact me negatively. I wasn't letting it impact my self-worth. And I said I knew I needed a career change, and I knew I wanted to start a business. And I said, I think the reason that I went through all those struggles was because I was meant to help other men who are feeling the same way. So that's why I've started empowerment coaching, and that's the impact I want to have on men, is to help them get through the challenges of modern dating with an empowered mindset, and not to feel victimized or feel like things are hopeless, because it is possible to have a successful dating life, even dealing with certain failures.
And I must say, you are still younger. Don't say when I was younger.
Yeah,
Okay.
younger. Yeah, I like to think I'm still young. I don't always feel it all the time, but yeah.
All right. Okay. So, were there moments in your life, your own life, where you faced the same struggle your clients do today?
Yeah, for many years. And I didn't realize it until maybe about a year or two ago. When I was younger, I was always chasing after women. And I thought it was just, that's what guys do. We're attracted to women. We all want to have a girlfriend. We all want to have a hot girlfriend. But for years, I would chase women. I'd have some success, go on dates and get into relationships. But whenever I felt a woman pulling away, or if she needed time or space, I would get very anxious. So I realized over time that I had an anxious attachment style. And I would the more I felt her slipping away, I would just chase, and I was looking for validation. I was terrified of losing someone. Anytime I found a woman I liked, I would pedestalize her. I was terrified of losing her. I would compromise on anything just in order to keep her in my life. I'd compromise on my boundaries. I'd compromise on my morals and principles. So it took a lot of self-reflection for me to realize that I had some void within me, that I felt inadequate as I was. And I needed a woman to help complete my life, that I was incomplete without a woman. So anytime a woman turned me down for a date, or said she didn't want to go out again, or just ghosted me, went off the map, I would fall into a deep depression over it. And because I saw it as a reflection of my worth. I saw it as a reflection of my future, that I'm unlovable. I'm never going to find anyone. I'm going to be lonely forever. And it really took a negative toll on my mental health. And, I did a lot of work on myself. Like I said, a lot of self-reflection. And I kind of wish, like the type of coach that I am, I wish I had somebody in my corner back then when I was struggling with that. Again, I had no safe male figures to talk to, because, in our society, men don't always support each other the way we're supposed to. So that's why I want to be that figure that I wish I had back then.
Yeah, like you stole my words, because my next question is like how did you overcome? You answered it. Um, Obviously, men struggle in modern dating. If you talk about, so why do you think so many successful men still feel insecure or stuck in dating?
I think though, especially when it comes to successful men, entrepreneurs, they approach dating with the same way they approach business. They approach it very analytically and logically, and they really overthink it. Connection, I make a lot of videos about this. Connection is very emotional, and it's supposed to be free and easy flowing. So, a lot of content online, I feel that it really over strategizes the whole process, and it makes men overthink. Like, stand this way, look this way, wear this specific outfit. If you say just this line, the woman will like you and she'll go home with you. It's very tactic based. And of course, analytical men fall right into that because it's just, they love using their logic, but it really and it does work some of the time. I will say it's not a total bust, but it really is performance, and women can see right through that. You could fool them maybe for a little bit, but it's not going to lead to what you're actually looking for, a long-standing relationship or a successful partnership, finding someone that you're compatible with. And another thing I find with entrepreneurs is they often lead with how successful they are, because again, if you listen to a lot of content online, we talk about how women are, they say they're hypergamous, that they only want wealthy men who make a lot of money, which really is not true. Maybe it's true for a certain demographic of women. Sure, there are some women out there that really only care about that. But really, women just care about motivation. So entrepreneurs, they clearly are motivated. However, I think they just tend to lead so much with their business success that they feel like a successful dating life should be a natural benefactor of that. And they get mad and upset that they're just not receiving the type of results that they're looking for, because they're just so very results driven. So like sort of separating the business mindset with the natural, emotional, easy flowing dating mindset it's something that's hard for guys to do on their own if they really haven't had practice. So that's something I really love working with men directly to help them with.
Yeah. Once obviously we are talking about the dating and the relationship, so how we can neglect the social media. So how has modern dating, like apps, texting, social media, changed the way men approach to the woman?
Yeah, well, I think with dating apps, it's made them approach less in person. With dating apps, I'm not totally against them. I think they're kind of cool, here and there to have as a backup option. But I think they are, to a degree, that dating apps and social media have replaced in-person meetings, in-person communication. They can be addicting. Let's face it. Men have to do a lot of swiping in order to get matches, and even from there, messages that they get and even setting up a date, the return on investment, as I say, is pretty low. So I think it's forcing men to be more domicile with dating and to not just get out of the house and try new things. So in that regard, it's just making them a little too complacent. And the other negative aspect of dating apps is what everybody calls the illusion of options. And this works on both sides, because you see all these different people, they're attractive, maybe they live in your area, they see that all these common interests, and you think, oh, I can have her, I can have her, I can have her. And you start to think, well, I have all these options now, and you start to be like picky with who you're going out with, and you just sort of get so wrapped up in this world of swiping that you just you start to lose the connection with people in person. So I think I think advancements in technology have been great, but I think we really need to return to more embracing an active lifestyle and meeting people in an environment that's compatible with who you are, and that leads you to meet a more compatible partner.
Okay. What's the first step men to take to rebuild self-confidence after rejection? Because always rejection, will lose the self-confidence. So how you can how he will rebuild it?
Rebuild it? Yeah, well, it's simply reframing rejection as redirection. I know a lot of people say that, but the biggest thing with rejection, and I experienced this in my younger years too, is that I always took it very personally. And guys who follow pickup artists online they teach you to take they indirectly teach you to take rejection personally. They say anytime a woman cancels a date on you, anytime she doesn't want to go out with you, won't give you her number, it's because of something you did, or it's because of the way you look, you're not attractive, or something you said that was unattractive. Now, don't get me wrong, in some cases, yeah, this could be the case, but the majority of the time, the reasons women cancel on us or turn us down for a date have nothing to do with us. Women have very active lives. Maybe they have multiple men that they're talking to at one time, or they're just really busy and they don't have time to date right now. Dating's not a priority. More often than not, it has nothing to do with the man himself. So helping guys understand that and just taking themselves out of the equation, focusing on what you can control, because at the end of the day, you can't control how a woman reacts. You can't control how she's going to feel on a certain day. Women's emotions change like the weather. So, and it's not our job to moderate it or manipulate it in any way to concede to what we're looking for. So just understanding your boundaries, what you're looking for, and who do you feel is most likely to give you what you're looking for, where you're going to meet that compatible person. That's the best way to overcome rejection. And you realize that it's not an impact on your self-worth. It's not a reflection of your self-worth. Again, easier said than done, but that's the big one.
Yeah, and one more thing, Daniel, obviously, once we talk about the confidence, not even self-confidence, a lot of people, they are going into the frustration and they will use drugs and these kind of stuff as well. So how do you help clients move from loneliness and the frustration to become healthy dating experiences?
Yeah, I would say, especially if they're self-medicating like that, which I'll admit I used to do. I used to use alcohol whenever I was upset about a woman canceling on me or a date that didn't go well. Really just finding healthy distractions. And I don't mean just simple distractions, but just picking up new hobbies, just getting out of the house, joining new groups that, guy may be interested in. They could be a religious group. It could be a political group. It could be taking up a new sport. It could be joining a gym, joining a fitness class. Volunteering. So it's really about getting at the heart of what a man's true passions are in life, and where he sees his future going, and just immersing himself in hobbies. So just not just having a pity party, but that believe me, I've learned the hard way that that's not the answer. It doesn't solve anything. It just sinks you deeper into that pit.
Yeah, I understand that. And how important is emotional connection compared to career success for fulfillment?
Yeah, emotional connection is hugely important, and it's frustrating because us men are just we don't communicate with ourselves that way on an emotional level usually. Our brains are just not wired that way. So when communicating with women, I think men struggle because they often ask very logical, factual-based questions rather than emotional questions. So, you first meet a woman, you may talk about what she does for work or where she's from, and they just kind of keep that, like they change the subject. They just keep asking questions, like fact-based questions. Simple approach is to pick something about her that you find interesting and just keep digging with that. Oh, so you like whatever, say she's a reporter, she's a writer for a living. Oh yeah, what made you get into that? What do you love about that so much? What's your journey been like? What do you like about it? What do you dislike about it? Getting her to open up about that will make her in her mind associate that energetic, pleasant feeling with you. It's hard for men to grasp because we don't really think that way. But that's a huge bonus. If men can acquire that emotional connection and emotional intelligence, it really improves their dating lives.
All right. I just need three numbers. What kind of daily habits, should shifts a mindset? Do you recommend it to men? One of three of them, you can just let me know.
Daily habits, well, absolutely taking care of your body. So working out, eating healthy. I myself practice meditation and journaling, so I do recommend that for men. If you're not really into meditation, just something that relaxes you. It could be maybe watching a show that you find funny, or a funny movie, or listening to music, whatever helps you de-stress. And just taking time for yourself, blocking, maybe turning your phone on silent, putting your phone out of sight. Because I feel, we live in just an overstimulating world. So having time for self-reflection and sitting with your discomfort, that's a big thing. If a man is really just desperate for a woman's approval and seeking some woman in his life to fill a void, he may have to take a break from that and just sit in the discomfort of, okay, what is this urge telling me about myself? And that's something that
Yeah.
I help guys unpack during sessions too. But yeah, self-care, I would say, is the number one big thing. And of course, being active in your work and in your hobbies, in your social life.
Always, always. Now, obviously, working solution is working for you, and we have a connection with each other, and obviously, we can give you the best results in the next near future. But what's your vision for helping men in the next, if I'm talking about 4 to 5 years?
Yeah, my vision, I do want to make it a global brand. I would like to create a global community of men supporting each other, like a global men's support group. You could think of it that way. Something I see myself traveling all over the world, doing speaking engagements, podcast interviews, helping men in groups, doing retreats. So I really do want to expand it to that level. That's really where I see empowerment coaching.
All right. Wish you all the best for it. And my last question is, Daniel, if you could give one piece of advice to every man listening today in this podcast, what would it be?
The first step to improving your dating life is to remove the negative mindset we have around it. I know you probably watched a lot of content online, all these people talking about how negative women are nowadays, and how flaky they are, and how distrusting they are. You know, if you go into dating with that mindset, you're going to attract those type of women, and your mind's going to filter out the healthy woman that you secretly are looking for. So just removing the negativity doesn't mean you just have to be a blind, hopeless optimist. You know, you do have to look out for red flags and things you're not okay with, you know, things that violate your boundaries. But just going into it with a healthy mindset, making yourself a priority, and just realizing that you are whole as you are, that a woman is going to complement your life, not complete your life. So again, that's something that's easier said than done, but that's something that I think if you have somebody in your corner like a coach, it really does work wonders to have somebody helping you.
Yeah, and Daniel, honestly speaking, I'm getting a lot of things from your side, and the crux which I'm getting from your all lines is the respect which we can give to any woman, and obviously, if you can give respect to anyone, you will get out of it respect, and that's I guess more important thing, and which we are, with this note, we can end this podcast to give respect and to take respect. And Daniel, it was a delightful podcast with you, and definitely in the next podcast we can go live on Instagram and YouTube as well, because a lot of people, they are still in waiting to listening to your words, to listening to your glance of life structure, life experiences. So are you ready for the next week podcast?
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
There we go. Then next week we can advise our audience to come join us and listen to the Daniel beautiful words, and that will be definitely give you a better life in the next near future. It was again a delightful meeting with you and delightful podcast with you, Daniel. And yeah, thank you so much, and hopefully you enjoy it, and next time might be I will come with more interesting and more beautiful questions for you. All right,
sounds good, Bilal. Thank you for your time. This was great.
Thank you so much for your time as well. Thank you. Bye for now.
Take care.
Bye-bye.